Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. As you can see, I am in a new location. I've moved, and you know what moving is? It's terrible. It's evil. But I'm finally settled in, I've unpacked, and I feel like I can finally rejoin y'all in the land of the living. And you know what else it is? It's hot. I basically chose the worst time possible to move. I hate summer. I hate all of it. I hate the beach. I hate sand. It's coarse and whatever else Anakin Skywalker said.
It's coarse and rough and irritating.
And so I've been thinking, how can I experience at least a modicum of joy during this godforsaken season? And I landed on celebrating summerween. Now, I have been a summerween enjoyer for the past, 2 or 3 years, basically since I was introduced to the concept on TikTok. I know the concept originated with Gravity Falls, however, I was not a Gravity Falls watcher. And I think it's a great idea because it is basically the only way for autumn and Halloween enjoyers like you and me to get through this time. And I thought it'd be fun to sit down with you and go over some summerween reading recommendations because, I talk about books on this channel. But first, I thought it would also be fun to do something more than just sitting in this chair and yapping about books I've read. So I thought we could go to my kitchen and make a cocktail and make it spooky and see what happens, right? There's always time for a cocktail. Hello, and welcome to my kitchen. So today we are going to make a summerween themed drink. We are making a Vampire's Kiss cocktail. Now, there are many ways, maybe infinitesimal ways to make a Vampire's Kiss cocktail. I have seen many a recipe online. What really matters is that it's a red drink. So you can really sub in or out any of these ingredients that you want to, so long as the end result is red. This is my version made to my tastes and to make it as simple as possible, honestly, because I don't need to buy a bunch of cocktail ingredients that I will use once or twice a year. And yeah, this is a really awkward filming angle and location. I wanted to make a cocktail in my kitchen because that seemed the most Ina Garten thing to do. However, my kitchen is not really conducive to filming. Whoever made this floor plan didn't really think that I would be in here trying to set up my ring light and also not get a halo around my head from backlighting and also have a suitable surface to make said cocktail on. And honestly, I was gonna go harder for this video. I was like, maybe I'll do one of those hamburgers, cheeseburgers that you cut out the cheese in the shape of, a jack-o'-lantern and we could make some burgers. I was thinking maybe I could even, make my own dough and shape it into a ghost and make a personal pan pizza. Could you imagine that in this space? No, it simply wouldn't work. So we are making a quick and easy drink. First, you're gonna start with the cranberry juice of choice. You can use cran palm, you can use whatever you like as long as it's red. I chose cran apple because I don't necessarily love the taste of straight cranberry juice, so we're going with the cran apple today. Do the measurements really matter? No, they don't. Do what you feel is right. All right, and that feels right to me. So we're going to do that, put that over here. Next, we have 7-Up. I like a cocktail that has a little bit of fizz, so we're using this. Wonderful, wonderful. That's looking very spooky already. Next, we have my egregiously large glass bottle of vodka. I hope you can see it in frame. I don't normally spring for the egregiously large size when I'm selecting my vodka. However, this week it was on sale for like $3 more than the small plastic bottle. And I thought, well, I do make a lot of penne alla vodka, so this will serve me for probably over a year. Let's hope I don't pour all over this surface. Okay, we're good. We're good. And last but not least, some grenadine around the rim. I actually don't think this is going to make any difference at all, but we're gonna do it anyways. And yep, I was right. Can't even see it, but you know it's there. I know it's there. And all of this is vibes-based anyways, so it really doesn't matter. That is very good. Let's talk about some summerween recommendations. Now, I've always loved a summer reading list. Obviously, in high school and college, we had required reading that we had to do for class, but when I was in elementary school, I really loved participating in my local library summer reading list, where they incentivized you to read every book with little prizes like stickers or bookmarks or what have you. And now that I'm an adult and I don't have the joy of a library summer reading list or a high school or a college syllabus, I'm not saying that sarcastically or ironically. I truly do love required reading even when it's for school. I have to make my own. So now let's discuss the official Hello Morimoto Summerween reading list. First, let's talk about I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. And I apologize in advance because I know I'm going to say this a lot throughout the video, but for me, teenage slashers are summerween essentials. I think it must just be a cultural tradition that originated with films like Sleepaway Camp or Friday the 13th, and now it's kind of transmuted so that every piece of media where a teenager meets their untimely end just feels like summer to me. And Stephen Graham Jones actually has a lot of novels and novellas that I feel like would fit within this category, but I chose I Was a Teenage Slasher for obvious reasons. I mean, it's literally in the title. The story takes place in a small Texas town in 1989 and centers around Tolly, our titular teenage slasher, who wakes up one morning with the insatiable need to kill and all of the skills necessary to do so. He's basically invincible. If you want a book full of 80s slasher nostalgia, this is the pick for you. Next, we have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Y'all know I'm the #1 Grady Hendrix stan, and out of his entire bibliography, I think this book fits the Summerween vibe the best. Basically for the same reasons as I Was a Teenage Slasher. Taking place 1 year prior, actually, in 1988, the novel focuses on the evolving relationship between besties Abby and Gretchen, who, after a night of teenage debauchery, wake up to find that one of them may be possessed by the devil. Or at least a demon. It's basically like The Exorcist meets Heathers meets Jennifer's Body. I literally said this in my last video about my 5-star reads, and this probably isn't the last time I'll mention this book in a video, but it's truly so incredible. I mean, it's funny and irreverent, yes, but it's also just such a tender exploration of female friendship. Next, we're going to take a bit of a left turn with Patricia Wants to Cuddle by Samantha Allen, who, by the way, has an amazing nonfiction book called Real Queer America that discusses the lives and experiences of queer people living in red states across the US. I'd highly, highly recommend it. But this one is for the sapphics. It's for the cryptid lovers, and most of all, it's for Bachelor Nation. This is about a group of dating show contestants who are flown out to the Pacific Northwest and there encounter a lesbian Bigfoot. I don't know what the correct term is for the portion of The Bachelor/Bachelorette where they fly all of the contestants out to a usually glamorous, usually tropical location, but this reminds me of Pilot Pete's season where they flew everyone out to Cleveland, Ohio, I think, and everyone had to pretend to be excited about it. This book is clever, it's funny, it's shockingly graphic, and I think it's perfect for Summerween. Also, it's queer, so it doubles as a read for Pride Month. Following that, we have Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark. Okay, so I chose this book primarily because it takes place in the American South, and what is the South like? It's hot. It's basically summer all year long. Set in 1915, this book follows Maurice Boudreau and her gang of fighters who work to defend their land and their loved ones from horrific monsters that are disguised as KKK members. I'm going to talk a bit more about some Summerween film recommendations later on in the video, but I'd like to say that I think that this would pair perfectly with a viewing of Sinners. Obviously, they deal with similar themes, but I also think that they align really well in terms of setting and tone. Following that, we have The Last Days of Jack Sparks by Jason Arnott, and I'm going to tell you now, you want to listen to this as an audiobook. The narrator does such a wide array of voices and does them so well. I think that this was probably my second favorite audiobook I listened to this year, the first being The Last House on Needless Street. And I think this book does take place either on or around Halloween, but it involves extensive travel to far-off locations, which is basically a hallmark of summer for me. And not to sound like a Tumblr Anglophile, but this book features a British main character and a lot of blibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. It's about this snobby, arrogant, very occasionally funny culture writer named Jack Sparks, who has set off to write his next book all about the paranormal and his complete skepticism. However, the writing process takes a dramatic turn when Jack begins experiencing a series of paranormal events that he actually can't explain. The most mysterious of which is a video posted to Jack's Twitter account that he can't recall ever filming or uploading. I mean, it's happened to all of us, right? And my final recommendation is Sign Here by Claudia Lux. This is the only non-horror recommendation I have on my list, although I might consider Ring Shout to be dark fantasy. But if you're looking for a spooky read without the gore or the fear, I'd recommend this one. This novel is about a demon named Peyote who works in the deals department of hell. And after many, many years, maybe even centuries, Peyote is finally up for a promotion. The last thing that he has to do is secure the final soul from the Harrison family. And I love this take on hell because it's just so creative and funny. It's basically like this office-style version of the underworld in which all of the drinks at every bar are Jaeger bombs and the coffee is eternally bitter. It's also a very twisty novel that slowly reveals the motivations and secrets of both the Harrison family as well as our two central demons, Peyote and his co-worker Calamity. The novel primarily takes place during the summer at the Harrison family lake house, so there you go, Summerween. Also, like many years ago it feels at this point, at least 2 years ago, they announced that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was going to be writing the television adaptation of this book, which I was so excited about because I love Fleabag, and then it just never happened. So what's up with that, Amazon? Answer that, Jeff Bezos. And I also want to take a moment or 2 or 5 to talk about some Summerween film recommendations. So last year, my boyfriend and I went really hard with the Halloween film watching, which is saying something because if you know me, you know I always go really hard when it comes to Halloween and Halloween films and Halloween books and Halloween decorations and visiting Spirit Halloween as much as possible. But last year, I literally made like a Canva visual guide and had a schedule for what films we'd be watching every week. And I think we started in June or July. Now, not all of the films I watched last year ended up being perfect Summerween picks. And obviously since then, I've watched additional films that I feel like would match this criteria. So here is a very short and loose Summerween watching recommendation list. Number 1, you can watch Jaws if you want. I am not personally going to recommend Jaws to you because I don't like Jaws. I think it's boring. But I think if I didn't include it on this list, people would be like, where's Jaws? Watch it if you want. How do I say this diplomatically? I like when things are beautiful. I like when things look nice, right? And in the 70s, that wasn't it for most people. You know what I'm saying? Like all of the characters in Jaws look like melting wax figures. And that's just not appealing to me. But also, like I said, I think it's boring. So watch it if you want. Number 2, Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyways. Now, is this movie good? No. Do movies have to be good? No. It's fun. It kind of fits into that teenage slasher category without there really being any teenage slashing. Or, now that I think about it, there's no teenagers in this movie. It feels like there should be teenagers in this movie, but I think everyone's either like an adult or a child. Teenagers like it, so I think it counts. Number 3, The Birds. I chose this one because it takes place in a coastal town, and I think some of the birds were seagulls. Therefore, it is a summer film. Also, it has gay vibes, so you can watch it for pride. And number 5, The Lost Boys. I don't feel like I really even have to explain this one. There are vampires, and the vampires have mullets, and they live on the beach. What more do you want from me? And finally, we have what I like to call the Diablo Cody Triple Dipper. Number 1, Jennifer's Body, written by Diablo Cody. It features Megan Fox as an evil bisexual times 1,000. And I love that Panic at the Disco song that's on the soundtrack. Number 2, Lisa Frankenstein, also written by Diablo Cody. I think that this is Cole Sprouse's greatest role because I don't think he utters a single word throughout the entire movie. And number 3, Forbidden Fruits, produced by Diablo Cody. I know this movie didn't hit for a lot of people. They thought the dialogue and jokes were cringy and the acting was maybe overwrought, but that doesn't matter to me. It worked for me. Lily Reinhart was Mother. It's about a coven of witches who live in the mall, and the mall was the mall from Mean Girls. My number 1 favorite movie featuring a mall this year. Number 2 being I Love Boosters by Boots Riley. Actually, let me amend that. In terms of featuring the mall, I think that Forbidden Fruits featured the mall better because they're in the mall for the whole movie. But in terms of movies that I actually just enjoyed on a rating basis, I liked I Love Boosters more. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Watch both. Go for it. I Love Boosters features a... No, actually, that's a spoiler. And there you have them, my Summerween book and film recommendations. Let me know if you have any additional recommendations you'd like to add to these lists, or if you've read or watched any of them and what you thought. And finally, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.